What's up? This is TheWon, and you're watching The Sport of Kings.
Wildcats. What they call me, the one and only. I make sure your girl is never lonely.
It's the Sport of Kings, letting out a ring.
Football.
Welcome to Week 2 of the National Football League 2012 regular season. I'm your host, the one and only Jodecideion. Before we get started, let's take a look back at Week 1 and a little segment I like to call, What Did We Learn? What did we learn in Week 1? When you have it, no matter what, you will never lose it. There are some players who are just natural, who are born with it. Even a sure thing will have a hard time. And finally, how about them Cowboys? That is what we learned during Week 1. It's now time to see who for Week 1. Completing 22 out of 29 passes, throwing for 307 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Tony Romo of the Dallas Cowboys is your beast mode quarterback. Rushing for 96 yards on 28 carries and scoring 2 rushing touchdowns, Alfred Morris of the Washington Redskins is your beast mode running back. Catching 8 passes for 114 yards and scoring 2 touchdowns, Kevin Ogletree of the Dallas Cowboys is your beast mode wide receiver. Your all beast mode defense goes to the Houston Texans, accumulating 3 sacks, 2 interceptions, and forcing 2 fumbles, holding the Miami Dolphins to 1 touchdown. The Houston Texans are your all-team beast mode defense. Tony Romo, Alfred Morris, Kevin Ogletree, and the Houston Texans defense, all for Week 1.
Yeah, this week's bonehead move of the week, man, I gotta go with my homeboy Victor Cruz for the New York Giants. He caught 6 catches for 58 yards. But how many catches did you drop, my man? You dropped like 3 to 4 big time shots, man. Big time. In the hands, man. In the chest. Dog, I understand you had a great last season and you did everything you had to do off season, but it's all good, man. I allow it for 1 game. Don't let it be a habit. Step your game up. But this week you are the bonehead of the week, Victor Cruz.
Now join the S4Y Picks and Predictions show on the PMK Sports Network, already in progress. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the S4Y Picks and Predictions show. I'm your host, the one and only Jodecideion, and my man to my left, S4Y, brought to you by We You Mad, driving drones and snowmen insane in the next generation. Hello and welcome, everybody. Before we go into our picks and predictions, we're going to look back at Week 1 and give you some of our important moments, some of our key moments in games, and just some of our favorite moments overall in the first week. S4Y, what are some of the things you're feeling in Week 1?
What I was feeling in Week 1 was easily RG3. Washington beating New Orleans 40-32. He played a superb game. You have to understand, playing in New Orleans is a no-joke place. He came out of there with no turnovers, had a magnificent game. That was like my wow of the week right there. And another thing that was surprised, as an overall package, the Jets scoring 48 points. To me, that was really big and out there.
Yeah, I'm going to go with, the first game of the season, Wednesday night at MetLife Stadium. Dallas Cowboys go in there and actually just play football. I mean, some straight up. I haven't seen those Cowboys play that kind of football since the days of the triplets, back in the 90s. I mean, it was real solid football, and they really impressed me. Hopefully they can sustain that, being a Cowboy fan, being down here in Texas. But for 1 week, they look real respectable, real good. Then I'm going to say just overall, I don't want to call it underdogs or whatever, but it seemed like every game I watched to a certain degree was competitive. I mean, the Philly Browns game, no way in the world that should be that close. The what was the other game? The Rams and Detroit, no way in the world that game should have been that close, but it were. I mean, football is really about just the fundamentals, no fumbling, no turnovers, scoring in the red zone, and in any given Sunday, anybody can win. That would surprise me in week 1. With both of us going 1-2 in the first week, here are our picks and predictions for the best 3 games of week 2. Thursday Night Football, NFL Network. The 1-0 Chicago Bears head to Lambeau to play the 0-1 Green Bay Packers. The Bears, coming off a victory in week 1 against Andrew Luck and the Colts, basically made him look like a rookie, but he is, so you didn't expect much. Still, Jay Cutler and the offense was running real well. Forte was running the ball, Bush was running the ball real well, and the passing game was looking really, really impressive. The Green Bay Packers, they're the mystery because they've come off last year, they're 15-1, but ran to the 49ers in the first week of NFL season, and definitely didn't look too good overall. S4Y, what do you think about this matchup?
This matchup is really big. It's a huge rivalry. I love watching these games, these Bears and Packers. Even though the Bears had an easy game last week, they didn't really matter because they're going to get up for it against the Packers, and the Packers already had a rough game, so they don't really want to go 0-2 because that won't be a good thing, but the Bears would love to go 2-0. I'm going to say the Packers going to win by a squeaker, maybe by a field goal or so. I don't really have too much conviction on it. I'm going to go because I don't see them going 0-2 at Lambeau Field because that'd be back-to-back home losses. So I really don't see that. So I think Aaron Rodgers and the defense going to play a little bit better and pull out the victory.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I see your points definitely. Personally, I kind of think the Bears could win this game, but at the same time, you got the Packers at Lambeau. You got this division rivalry, one of the oldest rivalries in the NFL, and even when they played 2 years ago, the Packers won the game, but it was a real close game. So the Bears can play with the Packers, especially with that new and improved offense. But there's no way in the world that I think the Packers, with Aaron Rodgers, are going to lose up to 2 games in a row, especially at Lambeau. And especially with Aaron Rodgers, he's the only reason that game against the 49ers this week was even competitive. He kept them in the game. And so I think if they win, it'll be a close game, but it'll be due to the skills of Aaron Rodgers. So I'm picking the Green Bay Packers to win also. Game number 2. Sunday afternoon, CBS Sports. The 1-0 New York Jets head to Heinz Field to play the 0-1 Pittsburgh Steelers. New York Jets in their first game this year look very impressive, destroying the Buffalo Bills, scoring mad points all across the board on defense and offense. And then you had the Pittsburgh Steelers, who had a rematch against the Denver Broncos, who they lost to last year in the playoffs, and once again came away with another loss. S4Y, how do you feel about this matchup?
Well, this matchup is going to be a little bit more bigger for Pittsburgh than New York, because they already lost to Denver. But they're also going to look at this week as this is their home opening game for the season. And remember, Tebow, that was on Denver last season, is on the Jets. So if these Jets is going to try to do one of these package deals and put this Tebow dude as a wideout or a running back, trust me, Pittsburgh is going to try to knock that boy out. I don't see the Jets throwing up 48 points at all again for the entire season. I think they're still pretty good. They're good on defense. They offense, let's see what happens if they're consistent. But Pittsburgh and Roethlisberger ain't having it. They ain't going 0-2. They will be taking out the Jets this week. And it's not to dinner. It's going to be to the ground. So I'm picking Pittsburgh for the win.
Man, I think Pittsburgh will win this game too, but I'm not quite sure, just due to the fact that game against the Broncos really shows some things. And I mean, of course, it's different in quarterback, Peyton Manning than Tebow and Mark Sanchez is definitely a different quality and skill. But the way that Denver Broncos defense was handling the Pittsburgh offense, Pittsburgh can't run the ball right now. Their main running back is still hurt and hasn't came back yet, and their substitutes, their young guys, are rookies. They just can't really run the ball like they should be able to run the ball. So if the Giants, our defense is legit, which I definitely believe it is, especially with those corners, Revis and all, I can see them slowing the Pittsburgh's offense down, and then it goes into just, can the Jets score? And I'm not talking about scoring 48 points, but can they score, 21 points or something? What Tebow effect what would the Tebow effect have in this game? Because I mean, he should play some, especially being a person who has beat the Pittsburgh Steelers before. And so the heart and the mind says Pittsburgh, but the gut says the Jets. And so I'm gonna go on a limb, and I'm gonna say the Jets somehow win this game win this close game, but they win it. So I'm picking the Jets. And our final game of the week, Sunday Night Football, NBC. The 1-0 Detroit Lions heads to Candlestick Park to play the 1-0 San Francisco 49ers. The Lions in Week 1 squeaked by, looked very young in that game against the Rams, barely squeaking by, but getting the victory. Playing the uncrowned champion of the 2012 season, the 49ers. Those guys in every way dominated the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau. And so, S4Y, what do you think about this matchup?
This matchup is going to be good and big. You got the two coaches, but last year they almost got into it after the game. So I know they all going to be hyped up. You know what I'm saying? The coaches, everything. But it's at Candlestick. And like you said, the Detroit Lions, they still play laid back. And if they play laid back with these 49ers, they're not going to be able to score those 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter like they was doing last year throughout the season. San Francisco ain't playing. They just proved the point against Green Bay Packers. They're going to open their home season this week against Detroit Lions. They best running. They got the wideouts. They got probably the best defense out there. 49ers home. They're going to beat the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, man, I'm going with the Niners as well, and it's just mainly because of that defense. They shut down Aaron Rodgers and his wide attack. You know what I'm saying? Guys were afraid to catch the ball. Jordy Nelson, Aldous Jennings, all those guys in Green Bay just didn't want to touch the rock because they're afraid to get their head knocked off. And now you throw in the offense. Randy Moss catching a touchdown last week. You know, they put him in the offense a little bit more. It's going to open up on everything wide open. And of course, that strong running game and that, you know, Hall of Fame type tight end in Vernon Davis. Now, don't get me wrong, the Detroit Lions, you know, they showed a little something in that game against the Rams where they came back and scored some points. But at the same time, you know, they were taking hits in that game against the Rams. And if I'm correct, I don't think Megatron scored. You know, he has some catches, but I don't think he scored. And so, is it the Madden effect? Is it already taking a hold of Megatron? We don't know. But I do know one thing, that those DBs on 49ers and linebackers, they're going to be targeting Megatron. And so, I'm definitely going with the 49ers to win this game at home. Thanks for watching this week's episode of the S4Y Picks and Prediction Show on the PMK Sports Network. I'm your host, the one and only Jodecideion.
And your boy S4Y.
See you next week. Take care.
And one more thing to our viewers, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like the page, help us out. Just hit that like button and comment and join us in for throughout the whole season. I'm out.
Once again, thank you for watching The Sport of Kings. We'll see you next time. Take care.